Delighted to say I'm joined by four-time All-Star Tony Scullion, full-back on the Derry team in 1993 that won in All-Ireland, of course hurled for Derry for several years. First of all, Tony, do you consider yourself more of a hurler or a footballer?
Shane, I come from, as you say, I come from a dual club here in Ballinascreen. And we've all codes in our club. We are a GA club because we have all codes. We have camogie, ladies football, hurling, and football for the boys. So I didn't start hurling till a wee bit later in my career, believe it or not. I started maybe football. I was reared in a rural part of Ballinascreen, 4 miles from Dean McGlinchey Park, and I'm sure a lot of people will know Dean McGlinchey Park, especially in Ulster, because it was the county grounds in Derry for a long number of years till Celtic Park was done up. So I was reared 4 miles in there. So it wasn't easy back then. I'm not going to bring you back to the old times maybe too long, because we had absolutely nothing at the house. We had absolutely no car. My dad, God rest him, my ma brought us up on a small farm, and all we had was a Dexter tractor, and my dad had a Black Maria bicycle. So I was so lucky that Seamus Grugan, God rest him, who was a great, great man who died a young man of 37, and but he was over the Ballinascreen on the 14 team, and as the crow flies, he lived 2 field lengths away from me, and he come looking for my older brother, and I was about 11 or so at the time, or 12. And I tortured him that much. And he told me, jump on there, Shumper. And Seamus was a great man. He was more than a manager. He was a father figure to us, because when he took us, he lifted the whole team as we went to thinning. Well, maybe the lads in the town maybe walked up the pitch, but the rest of us, he lifted all the country lads, and he had a wee, whatever, Vauxhall car, and we're hanging out of Wondies. This is true. This is true story. Hanging out of Wondies, taking us to the football pitch in Ballinascreen to thinners, and then on the way home, stopped at the shop and bought a switch and left us home. And he come looking for the older brother. I taught him that much that I was going to go, and that was it. And then Seamus Doherty, a great club stalwart, managed football too back in the time, the senior team, but would have been maybe more hurling, would have focused on the hurling a lot in the club and tried to get the hurling going. And he come and asked me, maybe at 15 or 16, he was over the under 16 team or whatever. Maybe he was taking every team on screen at that time. That's the type Seamus Doherty was, because there was very little else helping and hurling at that stage. And he come and asked me would I play hurling, and gladly accepted, and I loved the game too.
Because I spoke with, I know it's your neighbouring county in Antrim, but Sambo McNaughton, who you know very well, he was telling me about like the days when, you'd be driving through army checkpoints and this kind of thing, and the troubles and all that he had times where his hurleys were taken off him or broken. Was it difficult to be a GA player when you were a young fella?
Absolutely, Shane. I don't think people realised what it was like up in the north, it wasn't easy. Going to thinning, especially. It wasn't so bad maybe going to local thin, but when I got involved with Derry, my county, and you're going to thin, and thin maybe was further away from home, you'd have had to leave 15 or 20 minutes earlier, because if you were stopped and they seen the GA bag in the back of the car, you were 9 times to 10 you're pulled in, unfortunately, and it was sad. It was sad, and it wasn't nice, and as I say, we were treated wrongly to play the GA, but and as I say, well, many a time, my bags were put in the car, and the bags were searched, and whatever the case went on, and terrible shame.
Did some players with that intimidation almost turn away from the game because they were like, I'm not willing to go through something like that to get to a training session? Whereas did it make other people more determined? I mean, do you remember how you reacted?
Shane, from a young age, Jay was my life, and Jay, from a young age, I realised how much I love playing Gaelic football and how much I love playing hurling, and why should I be? Why should I be intimidated from playing our Irish games? And it made me more determined to play our games. It made me look more determined to get to the training sessions. And if I was going to be stopped, if I was going to be harassed and put out of a car because of the J bag, I'll tell you one thing: it made me even more determined to be there the next night too. I can remember one time, believe it or not, coming from a hurling match. And now, don't ask me who we're playing. We were down south playing a hurling match, and there was a car had to go down to the match because of there was some reason I had to get home early, and I come up the road in the car again, and we're coming across Loughnacloy at the border of Loughnacloy, and there was 4 or 5 of us in the car, and we were pulled in, and we were taken into a shed, and we were put into each corner of the shed, and it wasn't nice, just because with hurls and bags in the car. So it definitely was not a nice experience, Shane, and thanks be to God, times have improved for the better.
Absolutely. So when you were a young man, how much of an influence were your parents in terms of you playing GAA? Because I've seen an interview where you talked about like how your parents even struggled to watch games through their nerves.
I would say, Shane, it wasn't nerves, and I don't think I did say nerves. Well, nerves to a certain extent of watching the game on television. My father never seen me play live in his life, even though we grew up, as I said earlier, in a small farm with no electricity. No, I can remember when I was very, very young going to a well for running water, for getting water. The earliest memory of the GAA to me was when Daddy would put the wireless on the kitchen table, and there was 3 boys and my mother, of course, in the house. There was no girls, and we would go around and sit around the kitchen table to listen to the All-Ireland semi-final or final. And my earliest memories of that would have been I was born in '62, so it'd have been early '70s that I can remember. And at them times it was Kerry and Dublin with the teams. And my dad's brother was a real Derry GAA fanatic. Would have went to matches in his wee car, but Daddy maybe didn't go much to matches, and he had to listen to the match on the wireless. And he was a wild Kerry man. He seen nothing but Kerry in his eyes. He says, "Boys." He thought Kerry were absolutely, and to listen to Michael O'Hare back then in the wireless, and Daddy was saying nobody will ever beat Kerry, even though Dublin did beat them a time or two in the 70s, but he was just a wild Kerry man. And as I say, he never seen me playing live in his life because he got bad with arthritis when we were young, and he was in crutches, so he wasn't able to go to the matches. And Mammy seen me play just once in a club match. Never seen me play live. But going back to the All-Ireland final in '93, yes, there was the matches on TV at that stage. And the All-Ireland final in '93, I think that's what you're talking about there. This is true story. Mammy sat in the wee room on the TV where the TV was at and watched the All-Ireland final. Daddy could not watch it. He was a wild man. He's fond of the rosary beads, and he prayed a lot. And thanks to me, he must have said good prayers first, and then he went to the bedroom that day. He could not watch that game. He went to the bedroom. So Mammy reported back and forth from the kitchen to the bedroom how the game was going, and he kept praying. And I know, and I've said this before, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. My first girl, Charlene, was born 2 weeks before the Ireland final, the 5th of September '93. And she was christened the week after it in the Rosie Chapel in Ballinascreen. And late Father Leo Derry, who was a great GAA man, who was parish priest in our parish, christened Charlene. And I had Sam Maguire cup for that christening. And I think Father Derry threw more holy water in the Sam Maguire than he did in the fountain. But I got the cup that day, the week after. And I think my proudest moment was taking the cup down 22 Carnamoney Lane and putting the cup on Daddy's knee. If you'd have seen the smile on Daddy's face that day. Little did he know that Derry would ever won the All-Ireland back in the 70s. He never thought he would see it, but little did he know he'd have one of his sons playing for Derry. Now, to me, that's what the GAA is about, Shane.
And I guess that's something that's going to be etched in your memory forevermore.
Absolutely. Always, and I'll always proud to tell that story because my parents meant everything to me.
And it's true, your mother used to give you sort of miraculous medals to put in your shorts.
She did. Yeah, you've heard more. You've heard a lot about me, Shane, boy. Every day I went out to play, no matter was it club, county, so lucky to play for Ulster, so lucky to play for Ireland, no matter what team I played for, I had inside my togs, I had 3 or 4 medals in a wee pin inside my togs. Me and Mammy would have went to the monks in Pokeland a lot. She was, and there was a Father Martin in Pokeland, and he was a great man, and I would have went into him too before matches, and Mammy would saying to me, Tony, can you take me this Saturday to the monks? And she was wild to get out to the monks every 5 or 6 weeks. So I was one of the 3 boys had to take Mammy to the monks. And then, as I say, she had me in there praying too like a good one. But anyway, she had been buying wee medals and prayers down in the monks and all, and the wee prayers. And Joseph, I'm not going to say every word of it now, but I could. And I've had it in the sole of my boot. Every day I went out, and whenever that word done that prayer, I had a new one to put into my boot. And that went into my boot every day, as well as these medals and my togs. And I never felt right playing for a club or playing for any team unless I had them things on me.
Do you remember getting called up to the Derry panel, either hurling or football at first?
I think my first time playing for Derry, yes, I know for sure, was playing hurling. Playing minor hurling. No, I never even got a trial for the Derry minor footballers. And best thing, and you know this, and you know, I'm sure it was a club man who was over the Derry minor team at the time. And they got to the Ireland final. Great man, Matt Throne. Played for Derry too, cornerback way back in the 70s. And he was over the Derry team. And, you know, I wasn't good enough. I didn't even get a trial. No, inside me, did I think, no point, I could tell you white fib here, but I'm not like that. I felt it was good enough. No point telling lies. I might have been too big at that time. I did sprout up, but I still felt it was good enough. And it hurt me. It really, really, really hurt me. I was playing in a minor championship semi-final, I think, at Lavey, playing Mahra Felt in the semi-final of minor championship. And I can mind, and I don't think I ever told Matt this story, but I can mind sitting up in the hill, and he got out of the car when the ball was right through in, was Matt Throne. And Derry were getting on really well in the championship, and maybe in the Ulster final from. And I says, if I put in a performance here today, he might give me a call. And I was playing full back, and I thought I played really well. But the phone call, there was no phone call, but in them times maybe we hadn't the phone. But I'm saying is, I never got the call. But you know this, looking back on it, Shane, and Matt, I'm sure I might even say to Matt, but it was the best thing ever happened to me, because I would be a determined old bugger, and I would try always to do my best, no matter what I would do. No matter what, whether it was work or whatever, I would always try to do my best. Now, maybe the only place I didn't work too hard in school, but that's my problem. But as I say, it made me more determined. So I played minor hurling, and then on my last year, in under 21, 1983, I got called up to the Derry under 21 team. We were playing Armagh the first round of the championship in Brawley, and I went up to the change rooms. I'm going to tell you this wee story, and sorry, hopefully I'm not boring you. I went up to the change rooms, Shane, and I was a wee country boy from Ballinascreen, and you had the boys 3 years earlier who were playing minor, who got to the Ireland final and were beat by it was either Cork or Kerry in 1980, and they were all under 21. So I went up to the change rooms, even though we'd trained a number of times. I still think I went into the change rooms. I stood back. The bag was put in the middle of the floor for the togs and the socks, and the jerseys were held aside because the team wasn't announced. I never thought, Shane, I was going to be on the first 15. I stood back, and everybody ran in to get their size of togs and their socks and all. And there was only just the exact amount. There was no extras, so I went in and tucked up the last pair of togs and the last pair of socks, and went back to my wee corner in the Brawley change rooms. Proceeded to put them on, and I realised there was holes in the heels of my socks. But I put them on. This is true. I went and put them on, and we said nothing. Next thing, the team was announced. Tony Scullion was selected at left full back. Oh Jesus! It was like giving me £1 million, and I nearly jumped through the ceiling. And next thing, the team talk was given, and we're ready to go, and everybody rushed to the door, and I stood back again, and I was going out the last, and God rest the great man Jim McGuigan, who was county treasurer for a long number of years. He was a man who had brought in the gear and all, seen me going out, and he says, "Young boy, come back here. You can't go out with a pair of socks like that on you." I says, I'm all right. And next thing, he took me back, pulled me back. He says, "You can't go out." I says, "God, the game will be started." And I had to go and put on a new pair of socks and all before I went out and made my debut against Armagh. And thanks be to God, from then, for a long number of years, I went straight from the non-21 team right on to the senior team. It was great. It was brilliant.
And when you went into the senior setup, I mean, what was the Derry team like that? And did you ever think, like, this All Ireland that happened in '93? Like, I presume that was like complete dreamland stuff. Wasn't reality.
It wouldn't have been in your dreams, even, Shane. I was straight onto the team. That was '83 on 21s, and so I went on to '83, '84 National League. And Mickey Moran was part of that. Mickey Moore was part of the under-21 management. Was Sean O'Kane on under-21? So he was having a good look at the players at under-21 level, and he was manager of the day team, the senior team. So he took me straight from the under-21 team straight onto the senior team because he'd seen me playing for the under-21s. Did we ever think? No, back then in the middle 80s, we were even though we got to an Ulster final in '85. Monaghan beat us out the gate in Clonus. I can remember that day too. I could tell you a story. We arrived with our red jumpers and grey trousers on us and white socks. We got lovely gear for getting to the Ulster final, and I felt like I wouldn't be comfortable in them. I would be rather be wearing a pair of runners or a pair of wellies, believe it or not. But anyway, and a pair of jeans, whatever. But next thing, we got our seats during the minor match. And the next thing, the Monaghan team came in just 10 minutes later to take their seats in front of us. And they come in, Jerry McCarville and Eamon Murphy and Kieran Murray and all them boys and Fergus Coffield. They all come in with their jeans and a pair of runners on them. And I was thinking to myself, that'd be me there. I said, look at them. I said, they're dressed that'd be me more comfortable. But men against boys, Shane, they took a hand on us that day. They bit us well. And that was a great Monaghan team. That Monaghan team weren't far away. And then, as I say, we weren't near it then. But then we got back to an Ulster final in '87, and we won that one.
And that would have been your first bit of senior silverware. I mean, how brilliant was that?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Even though Shane, I forgot about some there. There was Centenary Cup in 1984. I think we got the semi-final that I believe. And I think Monaghan beat us in the semi-final in Croke Park in a great game of football. I'm pretty sure of that, Shane. Monaghan beat us in the Centenary Cup semi-final in Croke Park. Know who we beat on our way to Croke Park that year? We beat a great Kerry team. And Kerry was supposed to have home advantage. But the kindness of their heart, they decided they would come to Jim to play us. And the Bomber, Liston, Jacko, they had a strong team. On that day. And we beat Kerry in June. Massive result for Derry. And we played Monaghan in the semi-final Centenary Cup, and they beat us in a great game of football in Croke Park.
I'm looking it up here, Tony. So you beat Derry, Derry and Tuam, then you beat Wicklow 3-10 to 6 points, and then you lost 22 points to 2-11 against Monaghan, who lost the final to Meath.
And so in the semi-final. And Meath beat Monaghan in the final, was it?
Yeah.
Because I tell you, Meath was and Meath's the next team I'm going to talk about here. But as I say, '84 we had a great run that Centenary Cup, and that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. '85 we got to the Ulster final. '86 I don't think we were near. Tyrone might have beat us in the early rounds of the championship, and then '87 we won the Ulster championship, and we played Meath in the All-Ireland semi-final, and that was throwing buns to a bear. That was a great Meath team.
I spoke with Liam Hayes recently, which the interview's on ourgame.ie, but their team, they'd eat you without salt, wouldn't they?
Sorry?
That Meath team, they'd sort of eat you without salt.
Oh, great team, and great men. We'd some great battles, and I don't know, I may be having a real history here, but we had a great record against Meath after that game. In the late 80s, maybe in the early 90s, we won 3 National League titles. Derry, 92, 95 and 96. And I'm really sure we beat Meath on our way to win a couple of them. And maybe beat them in National League games. And see National League football back then, it was tough. I mean, going to Navan and beating Meath and Navan. Great games, Derry and Meath. 2 physical teams that played football. No lying down. Took your bang, honest bang, straight bang, got up again and said nothing and played away. I'd have great respect for them Meath fellas, absolutely.
So the years coming into you winning the All-Ireland, we saw Down win it in 1991, Downey Co win it in 1992, and I suppose you felt like you weren't far off it. So how much of it was you'd had a bit of success beforehand, saw your equals go on and win All-Irelands, and then Eamonn Coleman come in, like a bricky sort of, I presume just like regular everyday sort of guy came in. How much of it was what you'd done already and your equals winning, and how much was him?
Eamonn played a major part, Shane. Absolutely. Eamonn was just one of the boys. On the bus, Eamonn was one of the boys. No, not often. It's a rare thing would you see ever. We liked the wee game of poker. And we'd have played on our long trips. Mine maybe going to Kerry to play the National League, and our long trips would have been down to the back of the bus in the lockers. We'd been playing poker, McGilligan, McKeever, and them boys, and we were playing away at poker. And next thing, Coleman would be hearing the coins rattling at the back of the bus. He'd be at the front. The next thing, he'd be getting up, coming down the bus. I'm coming to get your money, Scullion, or McGilligan or McKeever, whatever. And he loved playing poker with us. And the fun we'd have. But see, whenever we got out of the bus, see, when we went to the change rooms, we knew who was boss. And he got complete respect from all the players because he was so down to earth and such a great man and passionate and great.
To someone who wouldn't know him, like, was he a fun character as well? Was he a laugh? Oh, was he very serious?
Brilliant. What did he say one time to wee Johnny McGurk? He says, "We boys can't drink big pints, Johnny." Oh God, the crack. Brilliant. He had some great statements on him, Shane. Absolutely brilliant. Some one-liners there. And oh God, if I can remember another one or two of them. He had some great statements. Absolutely. And as I say, he was just one of the fellas. But as I say, see, when we got onto the training field or onto the change rooms, or when a spade had to be called a spade, then he was fit to do that because we said that man's doing it for the good of the team, the good of Derry.
Did he change anything in particular, or was there a day in particular when you realised we can go on and win an All-Ireland?
Well, Shane, when did we really believe? Eamonn Coleman was at 1991 or whatever, and then 91 Down bit us after replay, and this, we could have had Down the first day. Ross Carr put over a free, I think, maybe 55 yards out in the last kick of the game. The ref blew the whistle to give the free, and that was it. Time was up. Injury time was played, and there's only one. Ross could have done that. But did we think 55 yards out, last kick game, straight between the post, final whistle blew, and they beat us and deserved to beat us in the replay. But we could have won that first game. So Down went on to win the All-Ireland. Well, it didn't really flick an eyelid with us. God save us, maybe we could won it. Maybe at that stage we thought Down really improved after beating us. I think Down improved as the year went on. What we improved, I don't know. We were ready for it. 92, we beat Down. I think we made a bit Tyrone and Monaghan in the early stages of the championship. We made it the Premier match, and then we beat Down in the Ulster semi-final in Kisson Park. Massive crowd, sellout. 92 National League champions against the All-Ireland champions. That was some game. Absolutely some game of football. They talk about sun-drenched Kisson Park. It was a massive day. Sun was splitting the trees, and we beat the All-Ireland champions by, it was 3 points or something. And then we went on to play Downey Co in the Ulster final, and Downey Co nipped us in the Ulster final. And we then felt, God save us, we could have won that one. You know what, we'd done with Down, and then Downey Co nipped us. We felt we didn't perform brilliantly against Downey Co, not taking anything away from Downey Co, but all I'm saying is we felt there was more in the tank. So in 93 again, went back again to that, as the boy says, to the well to try again, and thankfully this time it all worked out for us, Shane.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the path you had to the final that year in the game. So, I mean, you started out by beating Down 9 points to 3-11, so very comprehensive. Then 19 points to 11 over Monaghan, again comprehensive. 8-6 over Donegal, very tight, so they were the All-Ireland champions. Then Dublin 15 points to 14 before meeting Cork ultimately in the final. Now, you often hear from teams that there was a turning point in the year. There was one game where this was the one that proved to us that we had the stuff to go on and do it. Is there anything that's kind of marked out from that year for you?
The Ulster final, everybody talks about the bad day and the conditions. It was, the water was lying 6 inches in Clonus pitch. It was terrible. And there was a new sod put in Clonus short before that. And the water it was unbelievable, the conditions. But when Donegal, and I'm friendly with Donegal lads and all that, and great, and we were still friends. But I'm sure they were thinking, maybe in better day. But I'm being honest here. Hail, rain, snow, 50 degrees sun, 50 degrees hit. No matter what, we were going to win that match. There was no doubt about it. Donegal got a 92, but we were ready. We were ready in 93. So it finished, as you say, 8-6. It was a tight match, but I think on the balance of play even that day, we were the better team. And then, was that the defining moment? No, I don't think so. It was very important. Donegal were All-Ireland champions. We'd beat the All-Ireland champions. But then Dublin and Croke Park. What a day. What a day. If you ever want to play Gaelic football and something to make the hair stand at the back of your neck and playing in front of Hull 16, superb, Shane. Great game of football. I think it finished 15-14. What a game of football. Again, two teams playing manly football, man to man. Superb. Some of the hits in that game, great. And the football in that game and scores were brilliant.
And as someone from the countryside, same as myself, the idea of going down over to Dublin and beating the Dubs, it's hard to beat that. Did you relish the challenge of facing the Dubs?
I loved it. Yes, love it. Loved it. And Juan says it's favouring Dublin to be playing in Croke Park all the time. I'm not sure. Everybody's dream. Everybody wants to play in the theatre of dreams. Our national stadium, what we should be so proud of, 84,000 people in what we have, Croke Park in Dublin. It's phenomenal. I don't think it really matters where you play Dublin that, yes, but no, it was absolutely brilliant. And as I say, I love the Dublin supporters. You couldn't get nicer supporters either. I've been down in Dublin a lot and I meet them a lot. And the Dublin supporters are lovely supporters. And that day, Dublin, if there was any day, Shane, we could look back and I could tell you about 91, that last kicky game, 92, whenever. That particular day, Dublin, did anybody deserve to lose that day in 93? 15-14, Dublin were in attack. They kicked the ball over the sideline. If they had have got that ball up the field instead of kicking over the sideline, it could have been 15 each. It's easy for me to talk here. Great work, Derry, and we were brilliant. We dug deep, but sometimes you have to think about the team that loses too. It takes two teams to make a great game. Did they deserve to lose it? It's tough. At the end of the day, did we deserve? No. Over the course of them 4 or 5 years, Shane, we definitely deserved one.
There's obviously a lot of big leaders in your dressing room, and I'm just going to kind of look over the team. I might just read out the 15 that started the final. Just the amount of leaders. So Damien McCusker in goals, Kieran McKeever, yourself, Fergal McCusker, Johnny McGurk, Henry Downey, Gary Coleman, Anthony Tohill, Brian McGilligan, Dermot Heaney, Damien Barton, Damien Cassidy, Joe Brawley, Seamus Downey, Enda Gormley. I mean, that's a team of leaders. What was that dressing room like?
Great. Absolutely great.
Who ran the show in there?
Who ran the show? I wouldn't say there was anybody around the show. I would say it was at that time of our careers. There was only a couple of maybe younger lads. There was a lot of experienced players on that team, and everybody fought their corner. There was no. You had leaders in every. Well, as I said to you, leaders all over the field. But by God, you had definitely leaders in every line, and tough leaders, and big leaders. And there was awarded advice in the year if you weren't stepping up the plate. So at the end of the day, the management can do whatever they can do, but you need to have the players in the field to manage the situation, because there's times in the game things have to be settled down. There's times in the game there's times men have to step up. That team was full of leaders, great men who knew how to lead, led by their actions. It's easy to lead by talking. And as I say, you can talk the talk, but you have to walk the walk. And we had men who was able to walk the walk.
Anthony Tohill no more than anyone else. Just totemic.
Eh?
Anthony Tohill, for example, you know, as a young guy myself, probably early teenager watching on this team, Anthony Tohill just stuck out so much.
Anthony Tohill, and I hate to be taking out any player, but Anthony Tohill could walk onto any team nowadays. Any team, Anthony Tohill you'd be the first on the team sheet. He had everything. He had absolutely everything in the game: athleticism, catching, strength. He could have placed a ball down 45 or 50 yards out, took one step back and looked at the post and bang, and the ball was still rising when the ball was going to the bar. He had absolutely everything.
Did you find it funny then when he got the trial with Manchester United, or were you like, well, obviously Anthony Tohill's so good, that's not a shock?
Well, you know, Anthony could just turn to any sport. That, you know, usually you find players like that. Then if you're good at one sport, you're good at them all. And he had that athleticism, he had that build. So did it surprise me? It didn't surprise me, but I'll tell you this: no point telling lies. I was hoping he wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I'm surprised there. Of course, you want to keep that team together.
I was hoping he wouldn't. I was hoping he would get back home again. That's maybe been selfish. But yes. I wanted the best for Anthony, of course, but I wanted the best for Derry and myself too. And I knew that if we had Anthony Tohill, we had a better chance of winning All-Ireland.
So every one of the players on that team, and by extension the panel, were very good players. But if you could just kind of isolate it in terms of like who were the most skillful players on that panel, who were the really classy players?
No, Shane, that's a wild question to ask me, because them men are all to me, and you named 15 there, Shane. There was men there who didn't even start. I think Derry McNichol didn't start in the All-Ireland final. She Derry McNichol in 1987 when we won the Ulster title, when we went to Croke Park to play Meath. Dermot only lasted 20 minutes because of a quad or hamstring injury that day. No, Dermot McNichol was Derry in 1987. And then he went to Australia and he maybe didn't, and then he missed get a couple for a while. And when he came back again, as I say, he only came on and he was an impact sub. What a man to have you on the bench. And then my own club man, Eamonn Burns, a great lad too, an absolute great lad, bags of skill and kicked his vital scores, many a vital score for Derry. So we had men on the bench who was fit to come in and make an impact. So for me to start picking out players, because it was a 30 man or 20 man, I think it was 29 men we had in that panel, and you'd have been in Glenullen nights, Shane. There was nights we were preparing for the Dublin and especially for the Cork match, and we haven't even talked about the Cork match yet. And we were preparing for that Cork match, the All-Ireland final. And Glenullen was maybe the only club in Derry, or very few clubs had lights back then. Glenullen had a great wee stadium, great wee pitch, and a wee stand. And I'll tell you, see, for 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the All-Ireland final, we'd be going to training there twice a week in Glenullen. And the lights would be switched. At that time, the evenings were getting a little bit shorter, and the lights would be switched on. And the management team was very fond of playing 15 against 15. Very little, at that stage of the season, very little drills. Just football. Did you see the games we played in Glenullen? Men lifting the lumps at each other. I mean it, Shane. Lifting lumps at each other. And there wasn't a whistle blew. And you couldn't have said, nobody could have opened their mouth. Maybe I shouldn't. But I remember one night, this is a true story of my 3 wins in life. I remember one night there was 2 men went at it. I'm not going to name their names. Fisticuffs. And Eamonn came running out from the sideline. And he looked at the 2 of them and he said, will you wise up or whatever? We can go hard without that. And you know what one of them boys said back to Eamonn? I thought you said we had to fight for our positions. That summed up Derry.
And was that right into the lead up to the All-Ireland?
That was a couple of weeks before the Ireland final.
Because I was going to ask you, do you remember sitting in the dressing room before the All-Ireland final started and trying to gather your thoughts? And like my thoughts of being in the dressing room in Croke Park is you want to try and distract yourself from any idea of nerves. Like how did you go about it?
Oh, my way was always the same. No matter if I was playing a club challenge match or for an All-Ireland final, I always went to a wee corner myself. I wanted nobody to bother me. I'll be honest, Ian, I never heard don't ask me what the management team said before any of them games. I was just myself in the cat wee corner, myself. So we stayed out in what hotel was it? Was it whatever hotel was the airport? I'm not 100% sure what hotel was in, but we were still there when the minor match was going on in Croke Park, and I mean watching a bit of the minor match in my room in the hotel I was staying in, just to see what type of day it was in Croke Park. Yes, you might see it's only 1 miles away, but I just wanted to see what. And I was watching a bit of the match. And next thing, time had come that we were to get on the bus, and then it was amazing getting Gardaí escort in from the hotel, going through the thousands upon thousands of supporters and the Derry flags and all red and white. You didn't know who was Derry, who was Cork. It was all red and white. It was unbelievable. And going in there till the back of the stand, and brilliant. And then as I say, I would get into that change rooms. I would just on my own, and didn't want anybody to annoy me, and just focus myself. And as I say, you could hear the roar from above you of the match going on and all that, and the crowd, and it was brilliant, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then you just going out onto that field, and the show of red and white. And I mean the marching around behind the band, and I just wanted to focus on. And again, I was assigned at the start of that match to pick up John O'Driscoll, a great player, and I was just focusing on that first ball,
When you were going around for the parade, or when you were shaking hands with the president, were you looking out at the crowd? Were you trying to keep your head down and try and not block it all out, or were you embracing it?
Sorry, Shane, what did you say there? Sorry?
So just before the match, when the parade is going on, when you're shaking hands with the president, are you keeping your eyes on the ground, or are you looking around and trying to embrace the spectacle?
I said maybe just my last sentence there that, I might have still had a peep around. I might have had a peep around and whatever, not too much, just maybe a wee peep around. I didn't really, I tried my best to just think about getting the game started and just worrying about the game. I didn't really focus too much on the crowd, but it was just keeping cool too, Shane, because when you go out there into that atmosphere, you could nearly lose a lot of energy if you weren't experienced. If you were, and you could be running about like as a boy says, a blue ass fly, and you could have all your energy out of you. So it was, I wouldn't have been a wild man for big warm ups before games. I would, boys would have laughed at me. I didn't believe in stretching at all, and this crack of warm ups and all before games, I would like to get straight into the game, So no, it was just a matter of getting ready.
Do you think Tony Davis was hard done by getting that red card?
Yes, absolutely. I think he should never. I think Tony. It was a tough one. It was a tough one. It was hard for the referee too, because he sort of went on. It was on Dermot. He went on, and Dermot was bent down to pick up the ball, and the ref, I think, felt that maybe Tony got him the elbow. But I felt it was harsh. I think Niall Callahan was lucky before that he wasn't caught, and it's the best thing he done. Given the club, because they really played after that.
And like Seamus got the goal, of course, Seamus Downey. Do you have any particular memories of the game itself? Because I know maybe over the years you've probably watched that game back, and it might distort your kind of memory of it. But do you remember anything like through your own eyes of the game going on?
Would you believe it, Shane? I don't think I've ever watched the full match back.
Would you not have watched it like the next evening?
No, I don't think I've ever watched any match ever back. Never. I would, maybe some lads or somebody would send me some on YouTube of highlights or something of a match or something, maybe Derry played on, and still do back and forward. Somebody sent me through something there yesterday, the day before, of Derry and whatever match it was, and there was 20 minutes of highlights on it. Maybe it's Derry in Dublin, I can't remember, but I watched that, but I never sat down to watch I've never sat down to watch the whole match. It's not a wild thing to say, but I'm sure I have the match there somewhere. As I say, my brother, he keeps every game that takes place. So no, anything particular in that match, that Cork match. Well, the only thing I would say prior to that final, Shane, there was this concept about the whole place after beating Dublin that they were going to 1-0 Ireland. beating Downey Co and then beating Dublin in that tremendous game. That was only a matter of turning up in Croke Park. And then you were playing a Cork team that had hammered Mayo, had beaten Mayo by maybe 15 to 20 points, full of star players. Now, that was my biggest worry a week or two leading up to the game, more so than the actual day, because I was glad when we got to Croke Park, because this was going to happen. But this perception, and it was built in Derry too. The Derry supporters were near enough demanding the Sam Maguire after beating Dublin. And you felt going down the road on Saturday that we always, our pick-up points was in Mahara thought, and then straight on. And the massive crowd for us in Mahara to get on the bus, the massive crowd in Mahara felt, and you felt they were near enough congratulating you. And the game hadn't even taken place. And you're playing against a mighty team of Cork who had, I can mind looking at a book, J book before that final, and reading up about Cork. And the number of clubs that was in Cork, compared to Derry, there was some like 30, at that time there was some like 34 clubs in Derry. Well, Cork maybe had twice or three times as many of clubs. And I was thinking, holy God, and how we were made as favourites to beat Cork. And as I say, that Cork team was a mighty, mighty team and a great team. And as I say, that was my biggest concern, that letting people leave. The supporters just thought it was done, and it wasn't done. It wasn't done. Oh my God, it wasn't done after 5 minutes. What happened?
And at what stage did you think, yeah, this is done? Was it only when the final whistle went?
Yes, every game's the same to me, Shane. I don't believe in 6-point leads or 8-point leads, or because I can see, I've seen many a game being turned very quickly with a kick of a ball. So I don't believe in a game's never won, and you have to go and keep going, and the only time you can be comfortable is when that referee blows the final whistle. That's the only time. Yes, in that game we were 1-2 to no score down early on, but we didn't panic. I know the lads weren't panicking. I certainly wasn't panicking. The game was only started, and then Seamus Downey getting the goal and all that. And I'm not sure, and I know it was unfortunate Tony being sent off, but I think we were starting to get in the sentence at that stage. Now Tony Davis is a massive player for Cork, a massive player for any team, and he was, of course, a big loss. But we were starting to get into the game in them stages.
So then, I love asking people, what's your memory of the final whistle?
It's relief. It's relief. It is, Shane. It's just pure relief. That's what it is. People say you must be over. It's just pure relief. It is pure relief. I think the last kick of the ball, it was a 45, and Cork needed to goal for the draw, and they dropped the ball into the edge of square, and the Derry player got it, and we were walking out, and the final whistle went. I don't know. I don't know that I jump about. I just stood there and maybe turned to Damien McCusker, the goalkeeper. I'm not so sure, but I don't think I went ecstatic. It's just pure relief for them in seconds, or that 30 seconds, 40 seconds, just to get in. That God, this is over. You've won it. Just pure relief to get over the one line.
And what about Henry Downey lifting the cup?
Well, what a leader too, Henry Downey. What a man, pound to pound. Some man, I'll tell you. Great man in every sense of the word. Unbelievable to see Henry and lifting that cup, and that the night, the celebrations that night, and the next number of days and weeks after, it was something that words could not explain.
Did you hold on to the jersey? Do you still have it in the house?
Do you know this, Shane? God save us. I have boxfuls and boxfuls of stuff up in the loft, and my woman's going to come mad someday. She tells me to read out the place. I have my Derry jersey. It's about there. Yes, I would never get rid of that one, and I'd always have habit of keeping my jerseys. Believe it or not, when I was so lucky to play for Ulster for 10 years. I think they kept near enough every jersey, and I was lucky to be part of one of 6 Ruga Cup medals in a row. So I don't like. Yes, there was no time I had it, and I felt there's only manners maybe to swap, but I always liked keeping the jersey that you lost blood and sweat on.
And you hear when people win in All Ireland, especially it was the first time for you. the effect that it has on people. Did you go and, you're going around showing off the cup and you meet people and their reaction to you was just almost overwhelming, whether it's from their point of view or from yours?
Oh, it's what it meant to people, you're saying? Sure, it was brilliant, as I say. What it meant to the supporters, just taking it into the towns for days after it in my own parish here in Ballinascreen, what it meant to the people here, and it was just that's maybe what makes the whole thing, Shane. Yes, to be part of that is something else, and I'm blessed to be part of that because, as I say, I was coming 32 at that stage. When we won our learn was 31.5, coming 32, and I broke my ankle in the last game in the National League that year, and I only got back a week or two before the Down match. Man, I could have very nearly. That was the only serious injury I ever got in my life, was breaking my ankle, and very nearly missed out on the whole thing. And for me to be for them group of men to come along, I was the oldest man on the team, and I think Damien Barton was a few months younger than me, but for them younger men to come along and to be playing with them, and I was blessed.
It would feel remiss of me not to ask you about Joe Brawley, both on the field and in the dressing room, and the character he was. I mean, basically his job has been to, come on and talk about that sort of stuff on TV himself. So what was he like?
Joe's great fella, absolutely a great fella, and he confidence. He played with confidence, and that's what it was all about. He really believed in himself, and he's, as I say, he was some character to have around the place. He'd take the nerves from you because he'd be fit to share a joke with you, he'd be fit to have a bit of crack and a bit of banter with you, and now this Joe Brawley could be a good turn. My God, he would. That's the type of him. He's good people from Dungiven by, and no better.
I'd say it'd be tough to get a word in edgeways if you and Joe were holding court.
Aye, with a night together a while back there, and we were a bit of banter. It was good crack, and sometimes he has to take it too as well as give it. So he's 100.
Absolutely. And then, I know it's difficult to talk about, and you don't want to go into it that much, but of course the Boys of '93, that book came out from Maria McCourt, just talking about maybe the breakup of the team and Eamonn Coleman leaving and Mickey Moran taking over. And I mean, we talked about all the big characters in the dressing room there. It's probably, maybe in some ways, when you look back, does it feel inevitable that there'll be a bit of a breakup of the team, or that things would eventually kind of sour to some degree?
Shane, it's something that I don't want. It's something I don't want to talk about too much. It was sad. It was sad. It was sad times, and as I say, yes, we had a great management team in Eamonn and Mickey Moran, and as I say, you see what Mickey has done since that, and he's a top man. You Danny McKeever, our brother Jim McKeever. Danny would have played for the Derrys in the 50s too, and Jim the brother would be a well-known great GA player too. And you'd Harry Gribben, and you had a fella Craig Mahoney that very little. He came on that particular year, and he's one of these boys sports they call get inside your head. Now I don't know that McGilligan or me listen to him much, but it seemed to work. It was a great management team, as I say. Mickey Moran as a coach, was way ahead of everybody else in the country. Mickey had modern day, always had modern day coaching, and as I say, Eamonn was a great partnership, and it's just a pity what happened. And as I say, it's something that I don't want to dwell too much on, Shane.
And do you think that future success, the G missed out on maybe winning more because things kind of came apart?
Well, when you look at that Derry team, from that 91 game against Down right through to I think you go to 95 when we talk about the Tyrone 13 bit in the day. Well, it was bit in the day 14 because we lost a lad too, Fergal P. McCusker, for absolutely nothing too. So a day that another game that we were in complete control of that game too. But fair play to Tyrone, they showed great character and absolutely won. But you know, when you look back from '91, as I say, right through to them 5 years, we won one All Ireland. Great, we won another National League title, I think, in '96. We won 3 Division 1 National League titles, and as I say, National League football at that time was tough too, and everybody wanted to win a Division 1 National League title, and we won 3 of them in that period. But as I say, over them 5 years, especially from '91 in Championship football, we won 1. Yes, could we won 2? Yes, we could have. Could have won 3. We weren't a kick of the ball. As I'm saying is, '91. I told you about '91, '92. 93 won it. 94, they talk about the great game in Celtic Park. To me, that doesn't matter how good a game it was. It's a game that we could have won and should have won too. And in '95 is one that we had Tyrone, and we had Tyrone bit that day. Tyrone unfortunately got beat by Dublin in the All Ireland final that year in '95. And I think we beat maybe a better Dublin team in '93. That Dublin team was 2 years older and all. And as I say, Tyrone were only a kick of ball of beating them and possibly could have very easily. But as I say, I'm happy to say I never thought I'd see the day that we had won All Ireland. So I shouldn't be complaining. But as I say, we could have. It's fine lines.
Well, so you played up until 1996. Was it tough for you to finish up playing football? And even how long did you play on with Ballinascreen after
that? That's a good question. You know this, Shane. You know this. You've asked me a question now that I'm going to put something straight here, to put something on record. Because if somebody made a quote, and I don't know where I've seen the quote at, and I've been asked a couple of 3 times about this. So I'm going to have to. If somebody made a quote that I had said this here, that somebody had asked me, why did you quit for Derry in '96? And seemingly the quote was, because I wasn't picked anymore. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Brian Mullins came in '96, and I played for Brian, a great man, Dublin man, a great player in his day and a great man. And he came in with Derry in '96, and he said, and I think he might have stayed 3 years, '96, '97 and '98. So I played for Brian in '96. At the end of the '96, Tyrone beat us and deserved to beat us by 4 or 5 points. Complete control of that day in Tyrone. We never looked like won that game. I don't know what happened. It wasn't Brian's fault. We had a complete off day that particular day against Tyrone. But at the end of that game, whatever, and the start of the league would have, usually the league in them times would have started before Christmas, Shane. And some games before Christmas, some after. And Brian was getting up his panel for the '97 season. And men like Damien Barton and Brian McGilligan, the older men, were taking a break, and said to Brian, well, we're going to take it before Christmas, take the break before Christmas, and decide we'll do after Christmas. I never took a break in my life. Never did take a break in my life. I was playing club hurling, club football, county. Yes, you when you were with the county, and later on the years, you went maybe you're missing club hurling games and club football games, whatever, and you only maybe playing a few league games and then into the championship. But I never took a break in my life from either game, and especially from the county. Never took a break. Just played away for the county league and championship for 15 seasons, whatever. And then when I seen Brian McGilligan and Damien Barton taking a break, for some reason I says, now I was coming 97, I was 34 and a half at the time. And I says, I said to Brian Mullins, I says, you know this, I'll take a wee break too. When I seen the other older boys, and Brian was giving all the lads, bringing a few new lads. So I says, I'll take a break too. And that's the worst thing I ever done. Now, well, maybe the man above was telling me it's time to quit, Tony. But when I took that break before Christmas in '97, the start of the '97 National League, Brian Mullins rung me twice over Christmas and maybe another time or two into January and February. He says, Tony, you're ready now to come back. We're ready. And one day I went to work. I had the bag packed. And I come home from work. This is just I'm sitting here in this chair, Shane. I drunk a cup of tea and I lifted the bag to go out. And some decided, I was thinking all day, am I right to go for it, am I right not to go for it? And for some reason, I just turned them back onto my landline phone and phoned Brian Mullins. And no, his wife answered the phone. They were up in Carndon at the time, in Downey Co. And she says, how long? I think he's just gone out the door. And you could hear her calling Brian back from the car. And he came back to take the call. And I says, Brian, no, I've made my mind up. I'm not going back. And
what
he said to me, Tony, what? I says, I'm not going back. And I stuck by it then, Shane. And I know I mean going to the Ulster final in 97 and Calvin bit us by a point, and it nearly broke my heart. Even then, and I'd be liar not to say it didn't break my heart. It did. I thought to myself, God save us, maybe I've had a stuck at it. But I've thought about it since, and maybe someone told me it was maybe time to quit. Maybe it was time to quit. I was 34 and a half coming 35. I'd have been 35 and a half come that championship, so it would have been danger. It would have been maybe too much of things here. So, as I say, I just made that decision. I think when I took that break, I wish now, if I hadn't took the break before Christmas, I definitely would have played in 97. No doubt about it. But when I took that break, it was hard to go back.
Do you remember your final ever senior game then with Ballinascreen? Or did you know...
Sorry?
Do you remember your final senior game with Ballinascreen? Did you know beforehand, this is my very last game ever senior?
No, I don't think it was like that. I think it was just... I played on for maybe another couple of seasons with Ballinascreen. And then... I don't know how it come to an end to finish up. I got involved with a wee club just across the marshes from us, across the mountain from us, Kildress Wolftones in Tyrone. They were in the bottom intermediate junior at the time. And a couple of men come tell me who had been the Kildress and Ballinascreen would have got on very well down the years, even though we're county boundaries, Derry, Tyrone, but we were very friendly, of course. And at least couple, and you know this, I went in and I took that wee club team for 4 years, and I took from junior to senior, and I had great success for them. And I really enjoyed working with them. They were great young lads. And you know this, I think I might have played an odd game for Screen the following year in the championship, maybe 99 or whatever, but I've eventually just called the day. I know this. Would you believe it when you do ask me that one? I lost. It's a wild thing to say. I lost in 3 county senior finals. Football. Lavey beat us in 19. They went on to win the All-Ireland. Lavey then beat us in 92 was the game, and they got beat by Skibbereen up in Dean McGlinchey Park in the Ireland semi-final. Tony Davis, Don Davis, God rest Mick McCarthy. And in 94, Brawley beat us, and they got to the All-Ireland final. And there was, if you remember that day, Shane, there was the wild one day in Croke Park, and there was things being blue all over the field. I think a Dublin team made a bit behind the All-Ireland final that year. So the teams that beat us in the club final, one of them won the All-Ireland. They all won Ulster titles. One of them won the All-Ireland, one beat in the final, another beat in the semi-final. So I lost in 3 county finals. And when I came back, a local man here was over maybe when I was completely done. They were playing the reserve championship, and I hadn't kicked the ball the whole year, and we couldn't get our team up. We're playing Clonnolan in the first round of the reserve championship, and he phoned me. Martin McCluskey was over the team. He phoned me. He says, Tony, we're having enough numbers. Would you be about this evening? Will you get up a pair of boots and head over by Claudia? I think we played Clonnolan, and went over that evening. Hadn't been all year, and we beat Clonnolan. And we went on to win the reserve championship. And you know this, I played full forward in that Shane, and I got some kicker of that we won on that reserve championship. We beat Bandy in the final, we beat Bly in the semi-final. It was bloody well great against just a bit of crack. And then went on, believe it or not, Shane, and like an idiot at 46 or 47, we get up and over Derry over 40s team, and we won the All-Ireland Masters. And I was playing full back, and with Henry Downey, and a lot of them men I played with, and Seamus Downey, and McGurks and all, the men I played with in 93, and I got a great kicker of that one on that Masters too. So it was great.
How much of a kick did you get out of playing with the international rules team and playing in the Railway Cup with Ulster? I mean, was that a big thing for you? Was it a much bigger thing?
Oh God, Shane! Why would anybody turn down an opportunity of playing for your province? That Railway Cup. Oh God, back then we won 6 in a row. I think we won. I started maybe in 88, but 87 maybe, and lost 1 or 2. And then in 89 we won it. And there was, I don't think there was none played in 1990. And then for the next 5 years we won 6 in a row 6 in a row. Even though there was one not played in 1990, and I played right through to 96. But we won 6 in a row. Railway Cup medals to play with to play for Ulster with all them great. Let's even talk about anthems, the Armaghs, the Fermanagh, the Monaghan, not alone the Tyrones, the Donegal's, the Downs, Gavins, the great footballers from all the counties in the province. It was a great honour. I loved playing Railway Cup, and Brian McAnuff and Art McCrory, two great men, took that Railway Cup team. And then I was lucky after, with my work then with the UCJ, I got involved with selector with Brian for a while, and with different Joe Kiernan, Pete McGrath. There was different ones took over the team, and I was involved there. So no, to play for Ulster, absolutely tremendous. And then to play for your country. If there's anything ever, Shane, if there's anything ever, we were lucky in '87. We played them. It didn't happen every year. And through my government, 87 we played Australia come over, and then in 1990 we toured Australia for 3 or 4 weeks. It was absolutely brilliant. And let me tell you, to stand on Croke Park for your national anthem, but to stand in Perth and in Sydney and your national anthem being played, how proud an Irishman I was, and the hairs were standing on the back of my neck to play for my country. Unbelievable.
Who would you have played with? I suppose it gives you an opportunity to play with great players that otherwise you never would have, and that's both with the Railway Cup and the international rules. Do any stand out?
Any?
Well, let's say any of the players that maybe you would have played with some lads from Dublin or Kerry or whatever with the international rules, and then with the Railway Cup.
Yes, sure, yes. Well, Stephen O'Brien from Cork. Stephen and me would have roomed out in Australia for 2 or 3 weeks. I haven't been talking in a while, but we stayed in touch, and he's a great man, Stephen O'Brien, great friendship, and that was in 1990, and little did I know, 3 years later, that we'd been playing against them in the Ireland final in '93. At that time, he was fucking peeved me in 1990. I think Cork had won a couple or whatever, and Derry, Scullion, Derry, but this, we come back, Derry got there, and as I say, Stephen was playing against us. Great man, Bomber, listen, he was my hero growing up. He was my hero, Bomber, listen. He was my childhood hero. I thought, yes, you had the great Jack O'Shea, you had all the great Mick Shea, you had all the great Kerry men. To me, Bomber, listen, was number one. Why? I don't know what attracted me to Bomber, but he was full forward, he had this beard, whatever, but I thought he was tremendous. High or low, damn times the ball was kicked a lot more, but any time she went on, Bomber won it. And he was the most unselfish player, and yet he could have took scores himself for fun, but he's the most unselfish player. I thought Bomber made that Kerry team. I don't know, and you're talking about a team of legends, but I thought Bomber was unbelievable, and he was, as I say, he was my hero. And would you believe it, that was his swan song. 1990, he got on the Ireland team. Unfortunately, because of a groin, a quad injury, he wasn't able to play in the first 2 tests, but he was in the playing to Australia. And for me to be playing alongside my hero, and me and him till this day are still big friends.
Which is great to hear. As a coach then, in recent years, you were involved with Damien Barton when he was over the Derry team, and there was that famous photograph where you and him were rolling around hugging on the ground. And then obviously you do an awful lot of coaching, and you coach with Ulster. How much did you enjoy that? Was it tough, the scrutiny? Obviously very different from being a player.
Well, Shane, maybe due because of my work, I'm working for the UCJ this last 17 years, and maybe due to my work with the UCJ, I haven't been involved as much as in the coaching. And with Damien, I was sort of more as a selector. I was more an eye in the stand. and Brian McGuckin would have been his coach more. So I would have been, as I say, just I'd have stepped back and I would have given my opinion of games from the stand. But that particular day, I seen that photograph. That particular day, and it was very exciting. I think we were playing Cavan, and I come down to the, I was on a wee earphone, but there was excitement. He couldn't hear me or whatever, and next thing I jumped over the wire, and next thing the final whistle went shortly after it, and he turned around and I was coming towards him, and we ended and tapped each other. That's how that ended up. So I usually I've been up in the back of the stand. So as I say, no, my involvement would have been for a while. I wouldn't been involved in many teams. I was so lucky. I was played for Ireland. Was lucky. I was involved with Paul Early with the Ireland team there a few years ago, and when we played them in Dublin and out in Australia. So I was involved as a selector with Paul, and then I was with the Ireland. I managed down to Ireland under 17s against Australia, 17 and a half against Australia for a few series. So I've really enjoyed that. Yes, absolutely. And as I say, I love the coaching a lot. Absolutely, do.
I'll just ask you two more questions. One is, who was the toughest person you ever marked? And then the other question, which you can answer just after it, is, what was your favourite match ever that you played in? Like, whether that's down to your own performance or just the feeling on the pitch or whatever it was.
Oh God! Hey Shane, you have hit me here, Shane. You've hit me. In fact, you're not going to get much of a response from me this time, Shane, because I do be asked that question about who the hardest player is you mark, and I don't. There's been great players, Shane, and I hate to pick one player, and I'm not going to pick one player, Shane. No harm, and I'm not being any harm to you or anybody else. But there's been great players. In fact, I always say, see, the day you go out and don't respect your opponent, no matter which club, no matter what level it is, that's the day that you'll have more bother with that. The club player will give you maybe as much bother as the county player. But any day you go out and play, as I say, you have to go out there, and I've been a wild man like that. No point telling no matter if it's a challenge match, no matter if it's a training match in training, I wouldn't want anybody to be the best of me. No point telling lies. So many's a day, many's a wanted the best of me, but I'll tell you, it wasn't for want of trying. And there was some great players I played against, absolutely phenomenal players. Anybody that's on a county jersey, you couldn't be a bad player. So as I say, if you don't get your own head right and your own mind right, and it's, especially back then, Shane, there's more cover for defenders now. And the football now is phenomenal. It's a great, more skillful, athletic, and all that. But I'm saying is, back then it was more man to man, and especially where I played at most of my time at county level, in the full back line, you had to be tuned in. And my always solution was, the best way of tackling was to try and get to the ball first. Get a hand on, get a toe on, get a nose on, get anything into that ball, and a second phase possession for the forward line. Usually it's one of yourself or some of your teammates will pick it up, or get out to the ball with two hands. But it's all about anticipation, trying to read the ball, trying to be on the move that split second quicker than your forward. But as I say, it's a hard challenge. Games, some great games, absolutely. I suppose, how can you go by the All Ireland final? It's something that you can't go by that. You can't go by the All Ireland final. You can't. That particular year, the Dublin game, we lost the final, even though there was atrocious conditions. It wasn't. Now I would say absolutely. I see that semi-final and final in '93. It was just phenomenal, when the time was in it, and us going to try to win the Sam Maguire for the first time ever. So you can't forget about them things, Shane, either, can you?
That's a fitting place to leave it, Tony. Thanks very much. You've been unbelievable with your time.
Thank you, Shane.